and you're a strange ball of energy, conscious energy, that sees 360 degrees, and you're like, what the hell is this? I didn't tell to myself, but now I think, what the is this? And the strangest thing about it is, I was laughing at that point. I was so light in terms of energy. I'm not depressed, I'm not sad, I'm not worried, I'm not frightened. I'm so light in this energy that I'm like laughing. I'm just enjoying and laughing. I was like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's that? Like a fish in a tube. And I was like, oh, there's my body. I see him. But the thing is, I see him all the time. It's not like I'm looking at it, I'm seeing. It's like there is, you're like, for example, try to imagine you're seeing a 360-degree vision, right? Try to imagine that. And try to imagine that you instantly also see your body. I mean, like, you have an eye here, an eye here, an eye here, an eye there, and another eye that's constantly seeing the body. And in this video, I wanted to share about out of body experiences. But the thing is, I wanted to do sorry, it's almost midnight here, and I worked a lot to the computer, and now actually look at that picture right there. I'll be in the middle of those two. So I wanted to search and find out of body experiences of other people have had, and I searched online, and I think people get a little bit misunderstanding about what actually out of body experience is, between astral projection or out of body projection or something like that. And in this video, I wanted to talk about this because what I realized, there was a lack of information with those two separate things. So commonly what people talk about astral projection, astral travel, or lucid dreaming. It's a form of out of body or an astral experience, you may call it. But the thing is that these astral projections, I have a cat there in the background. She's young and she's playing all sorts of tricks there in the other room, and maybe soon she'll be on my head here. So the thing is about astral projections is that basically, whenever you do some kind of meditation, or you take some kind of substances. Many people I know, they take lots of substances, like I don't name them here on this video. Like they use some kind of more or less a drug, especially those Vasca things. They start to have these mind messed, energy messed visions, insights, lucid things. And they like to refer to them as being out of body. But the thing is, when you do get out of body an experience, you will definitely say this was an out of body experience, and all the rest that was were just something in astral world or astral planes or whatever, maybe in my head as well. But the thing is that no one of these are good or better. It's just that out of body experience is realistic. Yeah, that's what you could say. It's realistic. It's what's going on right now. I mean, these astral projections and astral, how you call it, remote viewings and everything, or meditation insights or visions or communicating with your spirit beings, they tend to be something you feel that something is going on in your head. Like also maybe you definitely sense more energies and etc. But these are something like you could say hallucination, you can say hallucinating types, you can say lucid dreaming or something like this. They're like messed together with energy and with vision. So it's basically you have a really high energy feeling, you have a sensation, but somehow it doesn't. It's not realistic. It is real, but it's not realistic. I mean, not even using the realistic word. It's not pure essence. So I was searching online these videos and I wanted to find some kind of a pure essence, and they have to really search hard for it, because at the first searches on YouTube, for example, you get some kind of a strange videos. But anyway, or maybe I want to hear something more detailed. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. But anyway, in this video I wanted to share my own personal experiences, how I got to the astral travel experience. I mean, like out of body experience. And believe me, I had many different world experiences, different being channeling experiences, stuff like this. But out of body experiences, I have only couple of, only one or two was really cool. And I didn't see any beings there, sorry. So I want to a little bit clarify right now that I call out of body experience to which I was consciously meditating to go outside of the body. And not like meditating, no thought state and can my higher being come here and do something, and I'm going outside my body to a different world, and then I see the God, and then I see maybe Jesus, and then I maybe see something else. I mean, like, just sit there. Just ask yourself, who is the one that's seeing right now? Who is the observer at this moment? Where is it? I mean, like, your mind will be starting to tell you, yeah, that's me, you know, the brain and the body, you know, the soul, and yeah, and you know, all sorts of thoughts were going on in your head. But you know that these things are being observed. You know, you are listening to those thoughts, in simple words. And then you ask yourself again this question: who is witnessing these thoughts? I mean, like, who is listening to this junk that's going on inside the head? Sorry for being unpolite. And then the self, or you may say your soul or yourself. That's what everybody's talking about in spiritual heights. Know the self, be the self, or self-realization. So at those questions, the self starts to awaken, in a sense, when you start asking the self-inquiry. So what it means is, there was this spiritual teacher, Maharishi Sri Rama Maharishi, whatever, I don't remember those strange names, but he was actually living not long time ago, and there are some videos with his students. Still, I believe you can find them online. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, when I started to do the channelings and stuff, the beings always said the self, your being, yourself, and self. And like self, realize yourself, be yourself, be your truest absolute joy self, follow yourself, and all those things, right? But to normal people, ordinary person, you would ask, what is the self? I mean, like, that's me, right? My body, my work, my job, you know, that's me. No, the self-realization, it gets a little bit tricky. And basically, when you do have your first out-of-body experience, or maybe a deep, like a meditative state, you will start to realize the self, which eventually means you will feel a huge gap between self, mind, body, and this life. I mean, like, it's like you realize that you're only witnessing and experiencing this life. You, not the head, not the mind. So what happens next is, you know, I did this meditation, sit down, I ask myself, I ask the self, like, who is the one that is observing, witnessing this moment right now? And the self starts to awaken. Well, basically, it's a strange feeling. but it puts you in a position where there is these tinglings coming throughout your body, like vibration. This is cosmical energy. Maybe throughout your head, you start feeling these tinglings. And what happens next is you feel them more and more. And then you start feeling this floating feeling, like you start floating inside. It's a strange feeling, but how to explain this would be really easy. When we are for a long time in our body, let's say, for example, an ordinary person would never experience out of body experiences, but when you are a long time without any experience of out of body experiences, you have come to use that you feel your hand, the other hand, you have the sense of feeling that these are your hands, these are your legs, this is your messed up hair, and etc. And you have all these feelings that you are used to. You know, when girls, they like to look at themselves at the mirror, touch themselves and everything. You get pretty used to it. You know, you used to your body feeling. Let's call it like this. But at that point, when the self starts awakening within the body, you don't have this body feeling. It starts to reduce, and what you feel is that you're some kind of a fog or a cloud within your body, and it's a really strange experience. For me, it was a challenge to getting used to this feeling because it put me some sort frightening feeling, I would say. Well, anyways, I was in this floating feeling, and so that's what I call out of body experience. And then there is a moment of silence, when there's nothing happening, and then you define your question. And the self, like, who am I? Is the question. Who is the self that's witnessing right now? And you will realize that from your focus of the mind, you start get to be the fog you are, and there are no questions anymore. It's just observant. It's just observing. And then you start, okay, I'm totally different right now. I mean, I'm like floating inside the body. Eyes are closed, so obviously I don't see anything. But you don't have this body feeling anymore. You just feel like you're a fog floating within this body and in darkness. But you don't feel that body anymore. And at that point, I just told myself, I want to get out of this body. I want to go outside the body. And then what happens is this energy starts rising. This fog, this tingling fog starts rising. You don't feel the tinglings anymore in your legs. You feel them in your stomach, and then in your shoulders, and in that case in my forehead, in my head and forehead. And then a feeling asked me, and this is strange, a feeling asked me, do you want to continue? I said yes. And then there was like a stretch outside, and I have this paralysis feeling, this stiffness, this paralyzed feeling, I don't know, this tunnel, this stiffness all together. And it gets really nasty feeling. I don't actually like that feeling. But anyway, at that point is, do you want to go outside? You have this feeling. Do you want to go outside? You say yes or no. Anyways, this would be a self-chosen way to go outside the body. In my case, I don't know how in other scenarios. But at that point, I'll talk about how did I got to my final out of body experience, and how it led me there, and I will share. So this is the idea of the out of body experience. Bam, you're outside the room, and you see 360-degree vision, and you're a strange ball of energy, conscious energy, that sees 360 degrees. And you're like, what the hell is this? I didn't tell to myself, but now I think, what the is this? And the strangest thing about it is, I was laughing at that point. I was so light in terms of energy. I'm not depressed, I'm not sad, I'm not worried, I'm not frightened. I'm so light in this energy that I'm like laughing. I'm just enjoying and laughing. I was like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's that? Like a fish in a tube. And I was like, oh, there's my body. I see him. But the thing is, I see him all the time. It's not like I'm looking at it, I'm seeing. It's like there is, you're like, for example, try to imagine you're seeing a 360-degree vision, right? Try to imagine that. And try to imagine that you instantly also see your body. I mean, like, you have an eye here, an eye here, an eye here, an eye there, and another eye that's constantly seeing the body. And anyway, I'm improvising. But anyway, so what happens later? So this is just a comparison between and now the astral experiences. So the astral experiences is something you lay down in your bed, for example, or so this is the out of body experience, and everything is realistic. Like everything is even more than realistic. Now at this point, the memory is foggingly to remember those visions, but at that point it's so realistic. I mean, like, so now let's compare out of body experience between astral projection. So an astral projection is something that you have like a vision. You, for example, driving a car, a vision comes up, and maybe you see something. I don't know. Maybe you receive an information. Maybe you receive an understanding. Like, for example, you're driving with your car, maybe from town to town, and all of a sudden you ask yourself a question, you receive the answer, and I'm like, okay, interesting. Yeah, that's a good one. Sometimes those answers could be true, could be not true. It doesn't even actually depend whether they're true or not. It really depends. Does this help you to understand the situation better? Alright? Okay, so if it helps, and it's fine. Right? If it's interesting, anyways. So anyways, you will not receive information that's not interesting. Other would be just mind thoughts, right? And those could be wrong. Those could be not interesting, and so on. But anyway, an astral projection would be something. You meditate. You try to focus yourself in some area or location. You focus yourself, calling your spirit guide, and bam, there's energy. You see some visions. Maybe he sends you some images from the other plane. You see them, and you think you're inside of that other world or something. Basically, you are in your body, but you are experiencing many these insights, energies, visions. You know, who knows what else, right? I mean, like, who knows what else in terms of. It depends on what you're asking, what you actually are doing there. Maybe you're taking some drugs and then trying to, DMT travels or something. Seeing lots of things. Actually, I've never tried none of those things, so I don't know what you see them. But who knows? So and eventually it leads you to some kind of information, energy that comes to you. Mind or you yourself interpret it, and then you try to share it and talk with others. Then maybe you yourself are a little bit confused. Was it or was not it an out of body experience? But truly I felt like I was there, but it was like through visions. And so yeah, that's like basically somebody is just sending you information. You're not experiencing it out from your body. You're just experiencing it like through visions. So none of them is good or bad, but it's just a different way of receiving information other than that. So anyways, let's start now with this note. maybe a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago, I was exposed to a lot of meditation. It's not that I started to search online and start doing meditation. It was like you feel that you want to sit in a no thought state for a long time, like 7 hours a day sometimes even overnight. And this started to happen to me at that point, and I didn't know what it is, but I was experiencing a ton of experience. I mean, like all night there was sometimes in different worlds. Sometimes there were strange experiences, and not like strange, but unbelievable experiences. For example, there are many stories, many. Just I will just share a couple of them for you to understand what exactly was going on by the word strange. At that point, I was in a relationship with a girl, which basically, you would say the relationship was coming to an end. At that point, I was maybe worried, maybe sad, who knows. And we didn't met for a long time, for a while, let's say. And all of a sudden, in this, doing lots of meditations, and then you have tons of dreams, like normal astral projection. Many people would say they come to out of body state when they are sleeping, right? So I refer to them as just an experience. So anyway, I'm having this dream, right? It's so realistic. It's really real. I'm driving my car. It's somewhere at night, or pretty late, maybe 10 p.m., 12 p.m., who knows. I have to drive in the city from a particular spot in our capital city, and this girl calls me and she says, "Do you want to meet?" I say, "Okay." I drive, I pick her up, I drive across a couple intersections forward, and this is happening throughout all the dream. I take a U-turn, I drive across the bridge, and she also tells me I need to withdraw some cash from this machine, ATM, and could you please stop there? I'm like, stop there. And while she's out of the car, I'm looking at the top of the billboard, which is on the roof of that house. And I'm looking, and all of a sudden somebody drags me out of my body and puts me on the top of the roof. And now I'm on the top of the roof with some person who is... It's dark at that moment, it's night. It was like something like a human, but it was in the shadow, so I didn't see exactly, but no, something with dark clothes, maybe brown, maybe jeans, who knows, right? You couldn't tell who is it, right? It's just somebody is there, and that person, this is in the dream, like a split of a second, like showed everything what the girlfriend is thinking about me, what she has said to her girls, and all of a sudden, and at that instant, I realized that, okay, yeah, it's like don't spend your time with this man, and at that moment I was back in the car, and I woke up at my house. Anyway, that house, yeah. So and when I woke up, I was like, damn, that was a strange dream, and everything was tingling again, right? Those tinglings happen when you do out of body, but anyway, it wasn't about that tingling sensations there. So it was about the story in the dream. It was so real, and yeah, just a dream, right? The next day, I needed to go to far away from my capital, maybe across my country, maybe 600 kilometers of drive. It was already very late when I entered back the capital city from the road, driving inside the city, and all of a sudden this girl calls me. "Do you want to meet?" I say yes. Okay. She needed a lift to the center. Anyways, can you help me out? I said okay. So I take her. I draw a couple intersections, and then she tells me, "Oh wait, I need the ATM machine to withdraw some cash. I forgot." And then we take the same U-turn as in the dream. Everything exactly the same. Only this time, you would say it's real life. that next down the bridge, next to the ATM, and I'm in exactly the same spot where I was in my dream. And I lay down and I look at exactly the same billboard which I saw in my dream. And I look at her. She came in the car, and I said, "Okay, I'll just take you whatever you need, and I'll drive home." And I drove home, and then I realized that, of course, we split up later. But anyway, then I realized that there's something lot more to life. And somebody is trying to tell you something, and whether it's through the dreams, whether it's through the information, whatever. But this was so real that you realize, and these things tend to happen many times. Like my car broke down, and I was like, okay, what happened to the car? And like a 3D vision scale, that broke down. Many times. And as soon as you do more and more meditation, these things will happen. Tend to happen more and more. So anyways, so these lucid experiences, these realistic sort of astral projection experiences, they tend to happen a lot of times to many people. But out of body experience is something really different. I think I know this one. How I come to my first out of body experience, it was a long time ago. So when ton of these astral projection experience started to happen, many meditations, the one really interesting thing, or what truly was there at those times, beyond anything, you can have all sorts of out-of-body experiences, like true remote viewing experiences, like channeling experience, so on. You can have all of those. But as soon as you witness the higher bliss state, it fulfills you, man, really. It fulfills you. So all I wanted to wish is for everybody, throughout those meditation experiences, just ask for the higher bliss energy. I mean, like higher bliss energy. It's something that puts a mark on you. I want to be there. That's for me. So anyway, throughout all those crazy experiences, there was also this bliss that was with me more and more. And this bliss really made the highest peak in my life as I can remember. I spent like one summer like in a complete bliss state. I cannot express that. I didn't go to work, I didn't have a job, I didn't need a job, but everywhere I looked, I felt like a tremendous amount of this loving, this, I don't know how you call it, it was so blissful. I cannot explain. And there were also moments when I was meditating with my eyes closed, and all of a sudden I see everything. Yeah, that's the truth. I see everything, like, I feel like my eyes are open, but they are closed. And as soon as I start thinking, the image disappears. And I had this many times also. And sometimes I ask myself, and maybe people ask, if you had these abilities, or maybe channeling beings, why don't you ask, for example, a lottery ticket, or like a free energy device? To me, at that point, it was like, I'm not interested in it. Mind interested only when you are deeply in the mind, and the mind doesn't have these answers. But when you are meditating more and more, you don't feel like you need it. You don't even feel like thinking about it. So yeah, continuing this story. So the first out of body experiences which I started to have was, believe me, if you want to ask those questions, what else experience that I had crazy like these, man, I could make another video of 1 hour, maybe more, only sharing those memories of those experiences. Anyways, so afterwards, I started to live in a different city, far away from my capital city. Latvia's capital city, Riga, and throughout the day I didn't have much to do. I was also a developer at that point, like a website programmer, PHP, MySQL, HTML, jQuery, JavaScript, Ubuntu, and stuff like that, and at that point, of course, I was interested still in meditation. I listened to meditation music, but I was pretty much into work things. But still, the question was, how do you go outside the body? But I wasn't even questioning that. I was also thinking, how can you actually communicate with different beings? You know, after all those meditation experiences, which I talked about just now, at that point, I didn't have any channeling experience or any out of body experience. I didn't have that, so I was like still curious. You know, there are people that can communicate with the people who have died and through different angels and everything. I wasn't even thinking about communicating with somebody who has died. It was like something out of the scope for me. It was like totally not understandable for me, and I was like curious about those things, and then what happened? I was in sleeping in bath. You know, warm water. I love to go inside hot baths. I was like, it was a really comfortable bath. I was like sleeping, and the water was hot, and then it started to get colder and colder to a point where you don't feel like you're in the water. It's like water is exactly as your body temperature, maybe 36 degrees, who knows, maybe 25, but at that point you don't feel the water is giving you heat or giving you cold. It's like pure water. And then at that point I was like, whoa, this feels really great, this feels really meditative. And I was just laying on my back, and I thought, I don't feel my body that much, I don't have thoughts that much. Interesting how it is to go outside of the body. And it started to happen. So what happened was, I didn't ask no questions. They were just asking, interesting how it is to go outside the body. And the thing is, what happened? I started feeling really much floating feeling like this again, the floating feeling, and I didn't see anything, but I started to feel that I'm in the nowhere and floating, and I got scared, and I woke up and I went to bed then afterwards. But when I was in the bed at like 10 minutes later, I still had this question. So what happened there? I felt like I didn't see anything, but I felt like I'm up like a meter above where I'm sleeping, like a sphere, and that's I'm there right now, and the sphere is me, and also I'm feeling the little body, and still again this floating feeling, but I don't see anything, and I was like so afraid, and I got back and didn't touch this question for maybe a year, or maybe more, I don't remember, but it gave me a little bit, how call it, goosebumps, right? So, and then several years passed, and then I didn't touch the question, but I become a channeling. I started to channel. It also happened accidentally, actually. I will not talk about this video because I've done tons of videos about channeling experience afterwards, before. So I started to channel, and I got exposed to more and more intense energies, like crazy intense, like crazy supernatural, sometimes even intense energies. At some points, I didn't know how to control them, and you got frightened a little bit about that. But anyway, and then I had the ability for a while to to communicate with whoever you wish. Like there were dogs coming in the channeling, the dead relatives coming in the channeling, uh, some kind of different variety of beings. They wanted to tell something. There were some kind of beings with completely no body, just pure energy. There were beings with bodies. There were beings from within the earth. There was like a huge carousel, and I was in the middle and so frightened and with anxiety, or how's it called? Like you stressed and worried and couldn't sleep, and you would think you were going nuts. So at that point, I screamed. I told I don't want to have to do anything with this, and it just turned off, like nothing. You don't have anything anymore. And at that point, it was like, oh, 2 days passed, 3 days passed, and I said I want it back, and it came back, but with a low level, but still pretty useful. So anyways, so continuing the story, to the first body experiences, I had this, like, there was this channeling periods and meditation courses I did to other people, and then at some point I came home, and I remember that there was a long time ago I had this out of body experience. And then I started every night before going to sleep. I started to tell this question, because before you go to sleep, if you can modify your question or speak out your question to yourself, there's a chance that in the dream you will be answered to this question, and you don't have to do anything. Just you will have the answer. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. But anyway, it's the matter of how interested you are in this question. That's what it is. So if you're not interested, anyways, not about this one today. So and throughout these experiences, I just want to focus. Yeah, maybe after a week or so, my mind is getting ready. I want to have this out of body experience, because I don't know how to do it. Spirit guides, beings above, whatever. Maybe you can, not like, actually help me out with this. It's not that I can do myself, but I need some kind of a tip for it. Not like money, but like a suggestion or help, or whatever. And so I remember I was in that was the strangest, spookiest night I ever had. So I was in a dream teaching my friends how to do levitation, and believe me, I had these dreams like more than 10 times. And this is okay, I will teach you, my friends, how you can do levitation. So basically you need to take lots of chi from the earth, you take it above, right? And I'm talking with them. Then you need to allow this energy to come focus in your belly, where the knob is. And I'm talking to them in the dream. There's the second chakra, or the second energy center, and it's the center of where the chi is being stored and expand, right? And once you have the surrounding energy in plenty amounts there, you will merge with the surrounding environment. So basically you will feel that you are starting to float. You will start like floating like this, and it's pretty easily. And then concentrate your energy on your hands and your palms, and you feel that the magnetic field from surroundings is just, you can push forwards, push backwards with your head, but still you will feel pretty much that you're floating gravitational without gravity, something. And the thing is, you start floating and floating, and you realize that you are like this, and this. And at one point, you can actually lift up yourself because you actually don't weigh anything. You're some kind of in the magnetic field between all those things, and you can lift yourself up. But you have to have a good amount of energy concentrated. So taken from the earth and from the surroundings, right? So when I'm talking to them and they're like, somebody achieves something, somebody achieves nothing, but anyway, I'm like, okay, now you watch. It's almost midnight here. And I'm telling, now you watch, my friends, right? Now you watch. And I tell them, and I started to float in the air. And the more I'm showing them, yeah, you can actually pretend that you're sleeping on the air. But it was challenging stuff to do, because you can flip backwards. And to actually make a thing like this, you need to focus slowly. And then, while I'm pretending, showing them that I'm asleep, I realize that there's some things actually happening pretty intense in my body, other than from the dream, and I realize I'm somewhere in the middle between the dream and the body, and with this floating levitational experience in between. So then I realized, okay, I need to wake up. I woke up, but I still have this floating dream, and I was like, I'm in the room. I set up at the bed like this. I had a big bed, like 2 times 2 meters, and you can walk if you wish on it. And then I set up at the bed, and I was like sitting like this, and I had this strange feeling that somebody's in my room. And this wasn't no dream. I wake up, I open my eyes, I turn on the light, I go to the toilet, come back. And I sit there, and it's like strange. This is so strange. I had these feelings many times ago, and it just feels strange. It's like you're filled with energy, and the energy floats and gives you this unrealness feeling. I decided to sit down and do meditation. I started to sit down and do meditation, and at that point, somebody was in my room. I open my eyes, I don't see him. I close my eyes, I see him. I open eyes, I don't see him. I close my eyes, I see him. He's like not in my room. He's in some kind of a energetical place. When you start doing channeling, you have some kind of an off-world place, like a room, energetical room. If somebody enters in it, you feel like he's here somewhere, but he's not here. He's in the other place, somewhere there, and he's there, and okay, I closed my eyes, and I didn't hear him. That was some kind of alien. It looks to me like an alien. He was shorter than me, dark brown. Doesn't matter. I didn't have his name. I didn't know anything about him. I still don't know who was he. But anyways, how he felt like I wanted to go outside the body so badly. Somebody told him to help me, and he feels like, man, you disturbed me with your will of wanting to go outside the body. And he was like disappointed. What happens at that moment is he took his hand on top of me and starts grabbing me outside of the body. Man, you can believe this. And at the first it was like, oh, what are you doing? I'm energetically screaming, what are you doing? What are you doing? So anyway, what happens is he takes me out, and there is this, when you start detaching from the body, there is this like a darkness of, like you're in a black oil, stiffy oil, like tar, something like tar, and you're like, ugh, and then you're out. He holds me out, I see him, he puts me back in, takes me out another time, but that was a little bit lighter than the next time. Puts me in, puts me out another time, puts me in, and disappears. And I've never seen aliens before, not like that, and not in my room, and especially not in this situation, in such a situation. But what happens at that moment? I feel like I'm vibrating, itching, tinkling throughout my body. I feel dizzy. I feel like, what the heck is this? And I calm down and I continue to sit in the lotus position, and then or did I lay down and then I had an idea? Hey, the energy is really intense right now. I could do out of body experience myself right now. That was what I thought. And then I sit back again in the bed, and then at that point, and then what I did, I sit in lotus position, and I asked again the question: Who is this? Who am I? Who is the one that observes? Then the body got so energizing, so floating, and I told myself, I'm gonna go outside the body. And then it happened. I'm like, there was some period of detachment, but it was really easy. Not no tar thing, paralyzing tar thing, and I'm out. But for example, if I'm sleeping here, I was out some 2 meters on the right side, not in front, not above, like 2 meters on the right side, next to the window. And then at one point, I realized I start to laugh. That was the first thing I started to do. I was laughing. I was just laughing. If, for example, you sleep in your bed and then a sphere flies into your room and you feel that somebody is laughing, you know that's somebody, maybe me, maybe somebody else, but he's definitely outside his body. And laughing because it's fun. It's strange and it's fun and it's so uplifting. It was like somebody's tickling you. You know, you feel like somebody, not like tickling. It's like the feeling is like when somebody tickles you, you have this like joyful feeling, right? So the feeling there is the same, but nobody's tickling you. And it's light. You don't think too much. Your head doesn't hurt of thinking. Your body isn't weighs a ton. You don't feel it, and especially you're a ball of energy, a conscious energy. And the interesting thing is that thinks. There's still thinking process involved, and that was, to me, it was strange. So somehow, you who is listening is an energy field that thinks, has its own consciousness, and is lured into and stays within this body through some kind of a linkage, bio-natural linkage, energy bio-natural linkage, call it as you wish. So I'm out, and the first thing, so it's laughing, a joyful feeling, uplifting, a ball, your energy ball, and that's a strange thing. Actually, it was really strange for me to feel this, that you don't have no legs, no hands, no head, you're a ball, and that's it, like an energy ball. There's no body anymore. And you have this 360-degree view to all directions. You see everything. I mean, like, not everything, but everything. You don't need to turn your head, you just see it. And at that point, it was night. Everything was dark, but I could see it pretty clearly. Of course, it was darker there, but you can see it pretty clearly. And at that point, I was very, very interesting. And so the battery is almost done. And another thing is, I saw my body very, very clearly there. But the thing is, the body had a huge aura all over him, and like a yellow. It was like golden, and then from the center out, it was at the outside was red and darker, but the inside was more closer to yellow and orange and white. Maybe in the middle it was white. So basically, it's like from the center of my body it was like yellow, white, and through the out it was like darker and darker till the red. The red spectrum was the last one. So anyways, and I decided, okay, now that I'm out, I could go somewhere. I could go to maybe my cousin's place. and I was instantly there. And I thought I would need to go, follow the street, follow the bridge, and find out his room, go upstairs and inside. No, just like you're there, and you see him how he sleeps on. He was sleeping on his air mattress on the floor at that point, and the next day. So okay, the battery faded, but anyway, so he's sleeping on the air blown mattress, right? On the floor somewhere at his apartment. I didn't know that. I had never been to him till then, and well, in his room especially. But anyways, but the first thing what happened was I saw him and I had this. Oh my God, he's so tired. I was like, oh, I need to help him. It's like you don't normally do that, like to somebody when you meet him. And I started to do something with his energy. I was like pushing his energy upwards and something. The funniest thing is, like, next day we met because we were working together and I talked about this, and he said, well, yeah, he sleeps on the mattress next to a window, and he told that I told him this experience. He said, yeah, but you know what, I felt I slept terrifically good this night, so yeah, that was like, okay, something was there. How you get back, I actually don't remember how I got back, but the thing is because I fell asleep at some point also, but the thing is when I returned back it wasn't like how to do it, it was like I want to go back, instantly you're back. So, and then I wanted to do some more conscious out of body experience. It always get to a point when the detachment start to happen from this body. I always start getting these this fear, and also this unpleasant feeling from the paralyzed state. Who knows why it is there, and I need to come for myself. I need to come over this fear state. When I talk to other people, they said they have experience of the body, yes, from this detachments, but they don't have any fear. They said they had fear a long time ago, but they don't have it anymore. So there's something got to do with myself, or maybe that's a limitation that I need to do something until I can do that even more. So anyway. That's it. You cannot ask questions right now, but you can sure leave a comment in those questions because this is not a live stream. And there's another interesting piece. I cannot play it still or yet. It's really difficult to play it, but it's a really beautiful, and especially when you can listen to it online to those who could actually play it. Right, a little bit warm up. Difficult, and I messed some notes there. I'll try it one more time. And there are, of course, some simple parts. So anyway, guys, throughout all these stories of spiritual, whatever you call it, still after we die, we will have our body dies, right? We'll have tons of realizations and going back home. So actually, if the point of this lifetime would be become super spiritual, we all already would become super spiritual at point when we become older and older and older. The thing is, I think in this life we try to be not spiritual. We do all the things to not be spiritual. Of course, some of us fail. So becoming spiritual is actually failing to be a human. I mean, like being you would say being a human. So anyways, you have sorry, this last text I told, it was like the like think what you want from these sentences. But anyway, what I wanted to tell about with the last sentences is that I think the real purpose of everything that you do is just be who you actually are. So that's what it is. And don't try to be someone else. Like, be who you are. And if you feel like meditating, do it. And if you don't feel like meditating, don't do it. If you feel like drinking cola and driving fast cars, just do it. If you don't feel like, don't do it. And what's the other purpose? What could be a different purpose then? So being spiritual is actually, or becoming closer to it, is actually just asking and willing to be more closer to it. Just ask it, and the life will drag you closer to those things. So basically, if you reduce the purpose, or maybe the life itself, the only main essence is understanding your choice, or making a choice fully conscious of the things you choose to wish. And it's like making a wish. What do you want? What do you want with your life? What do you want to do? Reimagine, imagine what do you wish. Like, and like being completely opposite is being completely unaware that you could actually make a wish. So being spiritual, being who you are, is actually being aware that you have a choice all the time. Even now, you have a choice. So the essence is understanding, why are you making these choices? Why did you make the same choice over and over again? So anyway, that's the point of coming more unlimited, right? Actually, this song is this is one of the beautiful ones. Still need to learn a lot. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Ask questions in the comments. Subscribe, because I sometimes feel I have a ton of baggage maybe inside me which I could share. And if it's useful, if it helps you, just ask, and I will definitely make some new videos about those things. So guys, see you and have a good day. Bye.